Look up, wake up, do something.
Hey y'all, I'm going to teach, or I'm going to instruct, or I'm going to tell, or I'm going to educate anybody listening that doesn't understand about the fourth wall. The fourth wall, and it has everything to do with the ISS, International Space Station. I caught this video here by Madison Star Moon this morning, and this guy's blowing Hawaiian Punch red Kool-Aid juice, trying to drink, and it splatters all over his face, and you can see with the rag, and she's showing this, and so she's making the point that this red sugary sticky water is going to get all inside the ISS equipment controls, and she's absolutely right. But back to the fourth wall realization. There are the four walls. Number one wall is the wall back here, where my cursor's going up and down. Okay, the second wall is over here to the right. Okay, and the third wall is over here. The fourth wall, well, what's the fourth wall, Joe? The fourth wall is the one wall that you never, ever will see or get to see. It's the wall behind the person on the International Space Station holding the camera. Now, the interesting thing about the camera is that it's boxed away, strapped up somewhere in low Earth orbit on the International Space Station. And because we're told there are very few people on the International Space Station at a time, what do? Draw names in a hat for the 5 or 6 that are on there? Oh, hey Bobby, we got your name came up. You're going to be the one holding the camera to film me as we stream this back to Earth. Okay. Susan, it's your turn. Oh, okay. So they pull the camera out and they stream it back so we can see this garbage. But back to the fourth wall. The fourth wall is behind the person holding the camera. And what you'll never, ever see is the person holding the camera doing a full 360 from where they're standing, showing the first wall, the second wall, the third wall, and then turning around and showing the wall behind them. A full 360-degree panorama of what they're on, the International Space Station in lower Earth orbit. And why is that? Why won't you see the fourth wall? Because they're not on an International Space Station in lower Earth orbit. They're in a studio on the Earth making it all up. Another YouTuber user, love his work, he mentioned how come whenever astronauts go outside of the ISS, open up the door and go out there, in the camera footage that they show, they never do a 360, they never show the Earth, the Sun, and the Moon all at once. They never even show the door they came out of on the International Space Station. Well, why is that? Because they want you to believe, they want you to just take their word for it, that they're really there. And because you never get to see the fourth wall, and because you never get to see when an astronaut is outside on the ISS, a full 360 of where he just came from, the Moon, the Sun, and the Earth, it's all lies. And that just takes common sense for you to think about in your own head. So I just thought I'd share this. Peace.
Clean their teeth, like when they're smiling, are perfect, like they brush their teeth. Okay, that's another thing. So she was showing how she brushes her teeth, and she swallowed the toothpaste. I mean, we better hope that's not fluoride toothpaste she's talking about.
Well, they're encourage us maybe to swallow toothpaste. The Russians on the big space station, they say they spit it out. The Americans swallow it. It's ridiculous. It's just absolutely insane. None of it's real. They never just get the camera and put it out the window and show you the spinning Earth. They can't do that. There's so many glitches in the movements when they're doing stuff where you can tell they're in front of green screens, blue screens, whatever you want to call it. There's one where the astronaut's going down the corridor, and then he turns, supposedly taking a right-angle turn down another hallway, and if you watch it in slow motion, they just fade him out. He becomes transparent, so it looks like he turns, but he's really in a zero-G plane where there is no right-hand turn.
How are they getting all the oxygen up there that they would need? The one girl said that she had been there for 6 months. So we're talking 6 months without a shower? And she's taking sponge baths every day or something like that. She would be atrocious.
If you watch the how she washed her hair, water droplets are going in every direction. Meanwhile, 10 minutes later, they're talking about how there's sensitive electronic equipment everywhere, and they have to be very careful with water, but she's sending water in every direction. It makes absolutely no sense, but the thing is, they don't even have to try because the world is sleeping and they won't even look because we just trust, I used to have great pride for NASA, and I couldn't even fathom that we didn't go to the moon, that the space station is the international fake station. But when you look, there is no other possibility.
Yeah. And they're faking a lot of this footage deep underwater because you can reach zero gravity deep underwater. So that would also explain another method they could use.
Right, the methods when they're outside the space station, like the famous footage of repairing the one satellite, or doing spacewalks. Those are all done in deep, dark, blackout pools. And on all of them, there's always a bubble that escapes from a little pocket and goes across the screen. But the bubble doesn't always go from the bottom up, because sometimes when they're doing this stuff in pools, they film it upside down or diagonally, sideways. So if there is a bubble, it goes across or it goes down, and your brain doesn't process it as a bubble, because they can do that. They can actually film it upside down.
Yeah.
But there's bubbles give it away all the time. And
that one
amazing,
Chinese, I was just going to say that one Chinese astronaut had a gallon of water that leaked into their helmet or whatever you want to call it, spacesuit, and they almost drowned. How can you drown in space? And now they're bringing snorkels to space.
Right. It's all just a bunch of lies. I mean, I can say that. I'm going to say that 100 times during this. It's just absolute total fraud. They've never been in space. See, NASA came into existence right around 1959 when Admiral Byrd supposedly, and I kind of believe he did, but I have no proof, went into Antarctica and discovered a tropical land. And so that's when the Antarctic Treaty came up. Nobody can go around the fence that surrounds us. And they also said, Van Allen radiation belts we just discovered. So they basically put a fence around us and a dome over us. And everyone believes that there's no other place to go.
Yeah. Well, how much land do you think is still undiscovered on Earth?
That's a great question, and it's a complicated question. And there is some amazing new, I'll call them theories right now, but evidence-backed maps that we're looking at right now. The Flat Earth Society. Not Flat Earth. The Flat Earth Society is a shill organization. The Flat Earth researchers, basically accepted the AAE map as a representative of the Flat Earth. But there's a couple things wrong with it. Just a couple. It needs a couple little shifts. So if you check on my channel, there's a video of an impromptu discussion with a couple other researchers where they've discovered the magnetics of the map, which explain, the southern magnetic anomaly that they talk about, where your course changes a little bit. It points out, how all the plane flights that are kind of have issues on the AE map. It's kind of working all of them out, and that's they're going to have a completed map out, hopefully in the next week or two. I don't want to put a time limit on it, but it's amazing how it works.
Yeah. Right. Okay, with all of these indiscrepancies and all of these things that just don't make sense, why do you think so many people are falling for this NASA footage at the space station? Why do you think more people aren't asking questions? 200 days of never having a shower? Think about it, people. Imagine even if you're in the cleanest, hotel room or a hospital room or something with nothing in the room except you're just in a barren white room, okay? You would still be dirty no matter what, even if you didn't exercise or anything. And let's speak of exercise. They've got these machines in there. You go ahead and talk about that, David. I know you know more about
they got machines. They're working out. Yeah, they got workout machines. They're sweating. I can't even talk about it because it's so ridiculous. But if you think about it, space is super hot, super cold. But these astronauts can do spacewalks, with varying temperatures of 500 degrees or whatever, up and down, and they're totally fine in their spacesuit. But when they land in the field in Russia, what's the first thing they do? They put blankets over them in their spacesuits. I mean, does that make any sense at all?
No.
They're wearing their spacesuits, and they put a blanket over them. And we never see anything go into space or come out of space. We basically, on launches, we see a rocket go up, it does a parabolic turn, it goes out of sight, and then they switch to CGI cartoons of what's going on in space. And then when it's coming back, all of a sudden we see a cartoon until they show us a parachute. Nobody can go near it when it lands, and then all of a sudden they're the astronauts, coming out of a pod that was supposedly, thousands of degrees, where there's no scorch marks on it. It didn't burn the land that it landed on, or when it goes into the water, steam doesn't fly up. Every single thing is wrong with it. But you ask the question, how come so many people get away with it? And the answer is, most people are good people. They're trusting. They're people that wouldn't deceive people. And you base the way you look at other people on the way you are. So if you're a trusting person that believes in authority and, thinks that people are out for your own good, you're going to trust them. The Rockefellers did a thing when they came up with allopathic medicine. They put the doctors in white coats because the white coat made everyone go, oh, you must know something, you're wearing a white coat. And that's why doctors wear white coats. It's just a perception thing. So when the president says we're going to the moon, Kennedy, and the news, talks about it and shows us fake footage, people just believe it.
Okay, one of the things that I was having a problem with was the necklaces. So it seemed that all of the girls that were on the space station all had these dangly necklaces. Is that CGI? Because, how do they do that? Can you explain that?
You know what, I can't explain it. I don't know how they do it, but if you watch the movie Gravity, it looks even better than that. So they know how to do it. It is CGI. I don't even know if they're wearing necklaces. Half the time the guy astronauts have two watches on, and one of them is dangling around, and the other one's pretty tight. I think that's just CGI. But again, I say watch the movie Gravity. It wasn't filmed in space. One reporter actually asked at the screening, talking to the director, how long were the actors in space to film this?
Right, okay, so they can make it that believable with the help of Hollywood.
Yeah, it's all done. It's all done with green screens, wires, and and they don't even do a good job. Watch some of those. All the videos are on my channel. Just watch them. They're short, and you'll. The first thing you got to do is drop your ego, because people don't like the truth when it disagrees with what they believed before, because it's very inconvenient.
Yeah, I agree. I saw the guy's wires. I mean, I didn't really see them, but I could see his shirt was being pulled on either side, and he was also holding his legs up because he didn't have the strength to just dangle from the harness like the other guys. So he kept having to put his legs up. If he was really weightless, his legs would be able to dangle, and he could just hold himself with one of those many blue bars that are put throughout the thing. Okay, I want to talk about something. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if they really wanted to try to prove it, and they might be able to fake this, but when they have 4 or 5 of them standing there on the space station, let's see them do-si-do, flip around each other, go over to the window, and point the camera out the window live and tell us where they are. That would be amazing, simple, and it should have been done a million times already. But never in the history of any space travel, from orbiting the Earth to landing on the moon, has a camera done a 180, let alone a 360, because they can't. because it's the fourth wall. There is no fourth wall. The camera has never done a 360, or I mean a 180, because they can't. It's fake.
Right. Okay, I want to talk about space in general. What is space? I think most of us believe that space is the area above the sky that leads to the stars and the rest of the universe and universes, multiverses, whatever you believe in. So what is the firmament? Can you explain this to people?
So, you know, the term the firmament, I believe, comes from the Bible. And if you know anything about me, I'm very scientific my whole life. I believe the whole ball of wax. And whenever I'm listening to a show about anything, as soon as they bring up the Bible, religion, I switch the channel. Not interested. But since I discovered the true nature of our reality, I realized that this is not a speck that, you know, just happened by chance, that this is a designed system that we are in. And it has made me start listening to people that are talking about the Bible. But the Bible talks about, I'm sure most of you have heard it, you know, God separated the waters from above, from the waters below. Space is not a void, a vacuum like we're told. There's something above us, a dome or a layer that we cannot get through, whether it's energetic, whether it's glass of some type, whether it's crystal, whether it's plasma, liquid, I'm not sure. But there's a lot of evidence showing that it is some sort of plasma or liquid or somewhere in between that is what we call space. You know, if you look at NASA, they have ships and captains. Everything they talk about in space is with naval terms. You know, and there's footage of the moon with the lunar wave. An amazing amateur photographer, Crow, CRROW 777 on YouTube. He has filmed the lunar wave, and a lot of people accuse him of faking it, but he's got a whole bunch of other people many times over the last 2 years or 3 years. They've filmed it other times, and it's pretty amazing. And you know, if you ask me right now, I'd say the moon and the stars are inside of whatever you want to call it, the firmament, but space is liquid.
Okay.
And there's,
so you're saying, like,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so you're saying beyond beyond our solar system, you believe that it's liquid?
Well, you can't say solar system, because, you know, now we're getting into what we believe. You know, we're told that we live in a solar system traveling around the sun, other planets traveling around us. None of that's true. The Earth is stationary. It's flat. It does not move. The stars, sun, and moon circle around us, all on different layers.
What is holding the Earth up?
Yeah, that's a great question. I have no idea. You know, we live in an electromagnetic world. Everything is controlled through electromagnetism. So maybe there's a big static charge, you know, I don't know, that holds the Earth. The Earth could be at a size that we can't even comprehend with words. And you know, on my channel, I have a video called Quantum Locking Meets the Electric Universe, or Flat Earth something about meets the electric universe, and basically it shows how a superconductor can be locked into a position over a magnetic circle and rotate over that circle in, you know, at whatever position you put it in. And the sun and the moon seem to be like an anode and diode, and they work together, and they could be quantumly locked into position. It's been proven. It can be shown in the laboratory. The heliocentric idea of gravity holding around cannot be proved. It cannot be demonstrated in any way, shape, or form, but the electromagnetic model can.
Okay, so we are not allowed to fly over any of the poles, right?
Correct.
Okay, is it because it's impossible to do? Has it ever been done before?
Well, no one's ever gone over what we call the South Pole. If Antarctica was a continent at the bottom of a globe with the center axis being the South Pole, we don't believe that that's the case. We believe that the Earth is flat, the center point is the North Pole, and if you go away from the North Pole in any direction, that's south, and it keeps on going. Now, and I call that the puddle that we live in, and some people have termed it puddle theory. With this new map that's coming out, with history, with stories about the Sumerians and the Atlanteans that disappeared. I believe that there's other puddles adjacent, not even thousands of miles away, adjacent, connected to our puzzle. I believe that we can actually sail there or fly there if we could navigate there. But the problem is, the map we live on is a magnetic map, and if you go like north from Hawaii, it brings you south. If you're looking at the map from above, because the course bends because we have bent magnetic fields. Again, there's a video on my YouTube page near the top for the new flat Earth map, and it's you have to really watch it and then watch it again and think about it. But a lot of people are seeing the light in that map.
Okay. In your research, have you found any connection to chemtrails and flat Earth?
Let's talk about chemtrails for a minute. Think about the spinning globe Earth and spraying chemtrails in an atmosphere, high pressure atmosphere with zero pressure vacuum of space that, for some magical reason doesn't suck the air out. None of that makes sense. If they're trying, let's assume right now that the main purpose of chemtrails is to control the weather. Are you on that boat? Or
No,
do you think there's
depopulation?
Depopulation too, but are they? Do you think that they're using it to control weather also?
Yes, geoengineering.
Okay, so let's just look at the geoengineering part of it, because they do multifaceted things. So if you look at it in the heliocentric spinning globe model, man, that's a really tough thing to do. You could fill the atmosphere up with these particles, but the whole atmosphere on the spinning ball doesn't even make sense if you think about it. It just doesn't work. But if the Earth was a flat plane and there was a liquid, energetic dome above us, now basically you could look at it like a snow globe, like the Truman Show or whatever. Now that atmosphere is held in by this layer. So now you'd want to get, you get the HARP array, an ionospheric heater, and by shooting all that energy up into space, it will expand you want to call it the ionosphere or just the top of the atmosphere, close to the dome. If you pick a spot near the middle of the dome, which is Alaska, because it's in the Arctic Circle there, it's very close to the center of this dome that I believe we live in, and you fire a HARP up into the air there, and it spreads it out. Essentially, you can push the entire atmosphere away from the center, 360 degrees, or you can cool it off and let it pull back. So you have HARP heating up the center, which will move entire masses of air south in all directions, and then you can have other little ones that will push back, or steer here, or steer left, or steer right. You push it back, and then as it's coming back up, you fire up another one in Kansas, in Puerto Rico, or whatever, and that will make things go around that, and easily you can manipulate the weather in a dome. I don't see how it's possible. If you did that on a spinning ball, it's just going to go in every direction and then come right back in. But if it was in an enclosure, you could actually recreate that in a model that would work, but you can't recreate it on a spinning ball model.
When you say a dome, do you mean a man-made dome, or do you mean a plasma dome, or do you just not know?
It's a dome made by whoever it is that made the flat Earth that we live in. This is a intelligently designed system that we live in.
Okay, so are you an atheist?
I was.
Well, are you now?
Can't be. I realize the reality of where we live. This did not happen by chance. It's impossible. And it was created by a creator.
Because this world was created for us.
Now, I don't know if this is one of the same videos we've seen, but I don't recognize her hair looking like this. Again, it's not flowing everywhere. Oh, okay, here they go. They're going to do the microphone trick.
We have a little flip trick that we can show you guys.
Oh, they're going to show us a flip trick. I'm so excited. Oh, here they go. Look at this, guys. Wow. We got it right in the right time, didn't we? So that was...
Wow.
Yeah, wow is right. Look at his face. Have you ever seen a face so red in your entire life? Look at that. So how did they do that? So somebody's probably beneath their feet. They're connected to something, you know, because they never, ever, ever will pan the camera down to their feet. You'll never see them actually take the camera and go beneath their feet. So what I'm thinking is someone's holding on to their feet or something. Look, oh, where are they going? Guys? Oh, they just float away and then cut away the scene. They're on wires or something. Wow, guys. Well, we just got a second of it. I mean, this is what they play 24 hours a day. And you know, your old Maddie Moon Pie here cannot stay away like a moth to a flame. I am drawn to the NASA indoctrination brainwashing channel. We're going to have to analyze that footage. They just floated away. So what I'm thinking is they're doing, I'm thinking that's just wires. It's so many different ways that they can do this that we've just got to figure it out. But regardless, we know that they're not in space. I'm just going to see if they're going to show another one after this. This is all brainwashing. Oh, my Lord. And they're playing my song. They're showing the same video of the stupid Earth with no Earth on it, just water and clouds, with the same freaking song. No! I know you guys know this song, this little ditty right here, because it's the same song they play every time. So first they brainwash us by showing us these alleged astronauts in zero-G, and then they go right to the fake Earth. No land anywhere. Maybe they're trying for a world record to see how long they can play this same video before people catch on. It has to be something like that. And look at this. Look at how much of the Earth is allegedly covered in cloud. We wouldn't need geoengineering. If this was the case, that would be it. But I'm not going to bore you with this, guys, because it's actually boring me. And if it bores me, I know it's going to bore you. I've seen this video 10,426 times. They never ever show any Earth on this alleged spinning ball. The whole thing is a farce, and I'll keep you posted. I can't believe we actually saw them fly away. That was hilarious.